Here in the orchard. It is the end of April. Everything is blooming, vegetating. It's about to be an abundance of fruit all up through here later in the year. Peace. Peace and greetings, everyone. Divine Zeal here, somewhere in Oregon. Right now I'm on the farm's orchard. A whole bunch of fruit trees sitting on the ground. But I wanted to talk real quick on reality bubbles and how to pop them. So right now during this pandemic, everyone kind of is being forced to not be able to jump into the reality bubbles. You know, maybe a lot of their social outings, you know, their bars or their clubs or their venues or their coffee shops or their restaurants or parks they usually go to, you know, stores they usually shop at, and, you know, everything and anything under this capitalistic, materialistic, you know, social bubble we exist in as humans. A lot of people are really, you know, out of luck, you know, right now. A lot of people are having to just stay at home. You know, I really feel like this pandemic, this global pandemic, this global lockdown that we're experiencing is more of like a purging of sorts. You know, it's really showing who people really are. You know, it's really showing people's true colors, people's true characters. You know, you're getting to see people in their most rough times. I don't know if you've been checking out you know, celebrities, you know, Insta stories, or a lot of people are doing, you know, live streams and stuff, but people are showing their gray hairs. You know, people are showing, you know, what it's like when they can't get their bald heads shaved. You know, people are showing their true hairlines. You know, women are showing what they look like without the makeup and the nails and, you know, the hair getting done perfectly and the extensions and all this extra stuff. You know, really seeing the raw, uncut version of people, and it's really great. You know, amongst, you know, I know there's been a lot of casualties and trauma and stuff, but just like, you know, if you're all right and you can kind of just like step back and you're still here, like we are all survivors. You know, it's a great time to just step back and just, you know, acknowledge yourself, acknowledge others for who they are, you know, and, you know, we've been caught in these reality bubbles. You know, we all have our go-to. Some people just, you know, they have their place where they go and get their coffee. They have their lunch spots. They have their kickback spots. You know, like people can't do big hangouts anymore. They have their, where people go and, you know, meet up and hang out. Like, you're really having to see, you know, what it's like when you're in the real reality bubble, which is one bubble we live in this planet, you know. And you know, normally this would be a hard guide, you know, a hard lesson to kind of share with, like how to get out of your reality bubble, but right now it's like everyone's kind of, you know, like we're getting out of it naturally, you know. But normally, you know, just like it's about changing your environment, you know, maybe changing who you interact with, changing who you socialize with, you know, just changing your whole daily routine, your weekly, your monthly routine, you know. You know, like I've been lucky enough to be constantly just changing my environment. I calculated I stay in a place for about, you know, maybe 6 months to a year over the past decade, you know, since I was 20, you know, and it's been good and bad, but it's really forced me to switch environments. You know, growing up on the East Coast was very diverse. You know, now that I'm in the Pacific Northwest, you know, it's mainly, the majority is honestly just white people, which, you know, can be, once again, good or bad, but it's really just, it's allowed me to just constantly just keep switching things up, you know, constantly just, especially like when I go out to certain venues or bars or places out in public, you know, I'm always having to be out of my comfort zone, because honestly, I'm like the only black person, especially black male, like 95% of the time, you know. Maybe there's another black person, so I have to really learn to just be comfortable in my skin and really stand up for myself and represent myself almost anywhere I go, you know, in peace and positivity, you know. So, you know, for me, it's been like a rough road learning to get out of my reality bubble, and just understand that like there's an infinite amount of bubbles you can jump into, and if you're just comfortable with yourself, then you'll never really be uncomfortable in any situation. If anything, if you would feel uncomfortable in a situation, you can flip that around and actually be the new light. Like you can be an enlightening addition to a situation. You can be you can share your experiences with people who are obviously different than you, or you can learn something new. That's why I love a great way to get out of your reality bubble is like learning new hobbies, getting into new activities, getting into new groups. Like I love so many things like mountain biking, snowboarding, tennis, basketball, but you always will be a newbie, a beginner at something new. And it's just like this new hill, this new mountain of new experiences to learn and achieve. You could be with anything. You could like get a new game. You could jump into a whole new series of books. Just even maybe jump on a new spiritual path. Like over the 10 years, I've mainly been a chaos magician, but the fluidity and the flexibility of chaos magic has allowed me to discover, learn, and observe so many different spiritual practices that my mind is just always I can never be bored, So yeah, like I feel like the beauty of getting out of your reality bubble and truly popping it just opens you to a whole bunch of new experiences, opens you up to a whole bunch of new possibilities. And like if I was just on the East Coast, I wouldn't even be here on this beautiful farm, like experiencing all these new experiences and like taking care of ducks, taking care of plants, all these different people I've been meeting, all these shows, and everything. I feel like some people, cool, they're lucky enough to stay in the reality bubble and that serves them, but for others, you might find conflicts and you might find some hiccups and stuff in your life, as a lot of us do. And the best thing I could say is just tweak your lifestyle, tweak your framework, and you'll probably find some benefits out of just popping your reality bubble. This is Divine Zeal. Once again, out in nature. All the videos, as much as I can, will be outside. But until then, as always, stay peaceful, stay positive, stay progressive, stay productive, and stay proactive. And I promise you, not only will you be surrounded by nature, surrounded by love, but you will always, and have always been blessed. Divine Zeal, out here in nature, out here in the sunlight. Oh my gosh, look at that beautiful skin, that beautiful melanin. Stay peaceful. Love y'all.